Welcome back. It's a new season. I know the bottom looks the same. We look relatively the same, maybe different clothes, but
We've just aged. We've matured, possibly.
it's a brand new season.
You've definitely matured.
And the game has matured with us.
Yes.
Sean's not wearing his shirt backwards anymore. That was a fun thing.
This might be the first time we've run it back in the same game. I think we talked about doing it once before. Maybe it might have even been last time before this last season, because I don't think we thought we were going to buy 2K23, but then Devin Booker happened, and we were, I don't know, idiots.
Smitten.
Tricked.
Yeah. Like we wanted to support Book, but does our purchase actually do that?
I
Probably
voted
not.
for FIFA, but I was outvoted. And, I was okay with it.
So we have a whole bunch of new tricks coming. They don't know any of them. I gave them a leaked screenshot of one box score that didn't even have a complete picture to it. They do know. They do know what positions they're playing, and we kind of talked about them in the previous playthroughs, but I guess we can go over it real quick. We'll see it in the in-game stuff. They don't have any idea about the league. At one point, I slipped that there might have been a Spurs logo on something.
There was.
Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe that was a red herring. Who can
Ooh,
say?
A trick.
So let's turn it on, shall we?
How gorgeous you are.
Here is me.
Oh wow, you're the best player in the world.
It's
Oh,
me.
Look how laid back you are.
I am a 99 overall. That is the first thing that sticks out. That's the highest any of us have ever been. Because normally I'm like, well, I got to make sure we're in a reasonable range. I don't want us to go 82-0. Where's the fun in that? So maybe that's a sign for what else is to come.
Really bad team.
I am 21 years old, and I've been in the league for 14 years. So I think that's pretty remarkable.
Oh.
I-
You were undrafted at 7 years old? No
Yeah,
surprise.
I'm undrafted from Kentucky because I just was too lazy to change him. I used to put in little joke ones. I'd make Dave from ASU, and then one year I'd make him from Arizona just to fuck with him. And we never see these screens, so who cares?
This must be some kind of multiverse shenanigans if you're drafted at 7 in the NBA or in the future, far into the future.
Years pro. So from 7 years old to 19 years old, you were under a 40 overall, and then you became really, really good.
That's
yeah,
right.
he
You
really
started being able to drink, and you got really good.
he hit the gym one summer, and that's all it took.
Took off. I'm the power forward. That's different. I've been running point for almost all of our videos on YouTube. I used to be a center back in the day. Problem was we realized that computer point guard kept getting worse and worse. So somebody had to do it. And at that point, I was like, I'll do it, whatever. And it just kind of stuck.
I do want to point out that our first set of videos we did was 2K13. So
That's pretty
Wow.
sad.
You guys have been doing this.
10
That's
years.
pretty sad.
But now Cody's here. Let's look at Shaun, our point guard now. He's got the responsibility of running the offense.
Fuck, he's from State.
he looks very
Fair
unsure.
Community
Just,
College.
Now-
his eye-
If you thought I was bad, he was in the NBA at 3.
I had good genes, and they wanted to make sure. Again, it's capitalist future. You lay claim to somebody early on.
How was State Fair CC? They give a good education for your bachelor's degree?
Very good.
Even though
Very
you take a
rigorous.
bachelor's degree at a CC.
Very rigorous.
I love community colleges giving 4-year degrees. It's great.
I looked so normal, though. This
You
is
just look
interesting. It's
you
also my
kinda
name.
look-
Well, that's a new thing, too. We're not Tommy Chambers and Saul Goodman
That was only
anymore.
1 year he did that.
I'm
Mhm.
just saying.
You
we're-
yourself before.
I am noticing the change.
I thought I had a fun idea. It didn't work. I'll just be honest. It didn't work.
Okay.
So, Sean, what I'm noticing is that your player kind of looks like he's got to take a shit.
Well,
just like,
I always do, though. I always do.
And I think
Wear a
these player
shirt.
models look better in game. Last year, I think I even talked about in the very first episode, it was like, well, these looked a lot more like the people I was going for, except for this picture, because this picture doesn't look right. And it's kind of true here. We look better in game than we do in the photos.
So you gave me a 98. Is that the tax for setting the thing up?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
If anybody else wants to take the 15 hours I spent on this, you too can be a 99 overall.
Nope.
Here's Dave. He's the center now.
I look like me.
Look at your
Well,
hair.
except the blonde beard. That looks like somebody took hair from your head and put it on your face.
Or pubes and put it on your face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
so,
wanna
like-
go that far.
We used to try and give Dave some kind of reddish tint. This one's either comically red or nothing.
It's
But he's from
Yeah.
Kenya, yeah. He
Uh,
joined the league at the age of 15. The
there's a-
problem is, if you do any shade of red, the beard looks horrible and the hair is not much better. Even darker shades of brown. There's no winning with this.
You
I
have a
tried so
gradient
hard.
on your beard too, from
You-
right to left. It
Yeah,
gets,
it's weird.
lighter.
It's unpredictable while you two are laid back.
Mm-hmm.
That is the worst descriptor of Dave I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Unpredictable, he is not.
It makes sense that I came in at 15. I had to, they had to find me, first of all, across the world.
Oh, a
and
white
ship
guy
me
in Kenya was real hard to track down, huh?
in. I mean, a 6'10 guy, too.
With a two-tone beard.
Hey, I didn't have a two-tone beard at 15.
Yeah, well, you do now.
Exactly.
And here's Cody.
Yes.
Oh God.
Okay.
Cody had 2 requests. He wanted to be as hideous as before, and he wanted cornrows. I said,
Still-
okay.
Still looks more normal than his previous person, though.
You know, the hideous as possible and Cody with cornrows just was perfect harmony.
Right?
That's all.
Exactly. It's great.
So he still has all the pock marks. I found a really weird version of stubble that gives him that like white trim on top of the beard that looks
Ew,
really
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does.
That's a new addition that we did not have last year
I want mine at 97.
because you don't play basketball. That's the tax you pay. You would have also been a 98, but you don't play basketball, so
Fine.
you get to be a
You
97.
know what? Had you gone out with us and not made fun of me,
At least
I
I
might
went
have
to a
ticked it
real
up.
college, okay?
Sure.
State
Well,
Fair CC in Kenya.
that's
I went to
fair.
Final Four. I was in the Final Four.
And you're a late bloomer. You joined the league at 18.
Yeah.
Were you actually in the Final Four?
No, I mean, that doesn't make sense because they were just in the Final Four.
Okay,
But
well, I'm just double checking.
my team, my school went to the Final Four. I don't believe Kentucky's done that recently.
That's
Now
true.
You are.
So
So that's the shooting guard.
okay.
Let's talk about the bench.
So am I the only clean-shaven guy on the whole team?
Yeah, you're boring.
Yeah.
You're a child.
Okay.
You're the only clean-shaven guy on the whole show.
Also
Yeah.
true.
They're us now, so
Also true.
What
you
want?
have occasionally rocked some stubble, but usually you're clean-shaven.
Okay.
Shaun can't grow a beard.
Let's talk about the
You can't do
bench.
this.
I can't do that. Certainly
Oh,
no.
Thomas
All right,
Chambers.
Thomas
Oh,
Chambers
hey.
back.
Timothy Chambers is back.
Now, is this actual continuity or just like an Easter egg?
Manny
Oh, no.
Fry is back. Saul Goodman is back.
Oh, no.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, no.
He's never even been pro. He doesn't get a progression chart.
He's from high school at 20. He got held back 2 years.
Now, this shouldn't matter, but they're here. We'll circle back to it. I just wanted to show you that they're here.
So,
So who's our
I
fifth
would like to
starter?
think it's continuity. So this team is training the next generation.
It could be.
This is NBA 2K, the
but they're
next
not
generation.
but they're not ready yet.
It's like Degrassi.
So like they're here and they're
Okay.
learning, but they are not ready for the big time. As you can see, their overalls have dropped since the last
Well,
season.
no, it's because they're so old. That's the only way this works.
Yeah,
is if
20.
they're too old.
Okay.
Yeah, but the ages don't matter.
Yeah, those are just numbers. I can always set them so much.
Yeah.
So who's our small forward in
Oh.
this league where we are all 97 plus?
Okay.
Beautiful.
Interesting.
That's,
Interesting.
That's not Charles Barkley.
Beautiful. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because I thought to myself, okay, he's never been power forward size. It's what he played in the NBA. I'm not an idiot. I know this. But like, we needed a small forward. I even tried playing it a little bit. I didn't like it. I wanted to be power forward. So I switched back. I was like, if I tweak him a little bit, if I slim him down, if this is younger Charles Barkley, who's not, 300 pounds yet, I think he actually works as a small forward.
Is this the Charles Barkley that shows up on the court in Space Jam? He's the wannabe Charles Barkley. Look at that face. He doesn't look like Charles Barkley.
Well, he looks like that, but he has the basketball prowess of the actual Charles
Okay.
Barkley because he is a 96. So that's
Okay,
our starting
okay.
lineup. The
All right.
four of us, Charles Barkley. Why is everyone so good? Well, I'm glad you asked.
The entire league is 99 overall.
So here's our roster now that it's not a big reveal anymore.
The Cookie.
Josh
Okay,
Okogie's our backup
interesting,
small forward.
interesting. All right.
That really shouldn't matter, though, because there's this gap between our top five and everybody else, right? Because if we look at this next team, there's a little bit of a gap between the top five and everybody else. What I realized was there's going to be a little bit of like a 1 minute aside. Grant me this. I spent 15 hours on it. Every time I tried to do these all-time teams or these really fancy leagues, all the stats were fucked up because there's too many good players. They all needed to have playing time, and I couldn't control for that in the Sims. So they're all playing like 22 minutes a game. They're all scoring like 18 to 19 points. Like the league leader, I think the three of us were all, or the three of you guys were all like 25 plus per game, and they were all top five in the NBA. I didn't like that. So I thought, how can I fix this? And I realized the inspiration, NBA Jam. Or more specifically, I guess, NBA Hang Time, because they had three players and also the rosters that you could sub in and out. I was like, what if we just make the best starting lineup for every team that I can think of and then not worry about the bench at all? So why do we have the guys from last season on our team? Because if you foul out, you can still have to be them. But there are no substitutions for any team in the league. Not just us,
Okay.
but
Oh,
any
good,
of them.
Good.
So
I'm
now
glad
we
it's
also
not
are
an
going to be
advantage.
balanced by the fact that we're not going to be picking on some like 88s overall that come into the game later.
Not only do I like it for that, I always thought Paul George, for example, he's killing us. Oh, the game is stupid, and puts him on the
And
bench
subs
for
him
40
out.
minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, this victory feels a little hollow now.
And in my test games, like Larry Bird's a god in this league for reasons we'll talk about in a second. I had to guard him because I'm the power forward, and I got no respite. I had stretches where I did well, but it wasn't like, all right, well, he's on the bench for a few minutes. I can go, there is no letting up unless he fouls out.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, this is the all-time Suns.
This is the all-time Suns.
So who are we?
It's
Now-
almost the all-time Suns according to our
So we're the
voting.
Phoenix
from
Suns.
We're the
Cup
Phoenix Suns. So the task you're going to have to figure out at some point, and who knows, maybe you'll pick up on it, maybe you won't, is what team is not here. Because one of the all-time teams is gone to make room for
You
us.
took the Spurs out.
I did not take the Spurs out. I would have too much fun beating their ass. There they are. Now,
You took the
I'm a
whole-
99, but in the effort to keep balance, the best way to do that was to make super 99s. So Tim Duncan is like 5 points into the overall on 99. It can't measure it anymore, but he is way above your run-of-the-mill 99. He's probably like a 104, if we're being honest. Now, he's like one of the all-time 10 best players, so there's not everybody in that range, but like Steve Nash is probably like a 102 on the all-time Suns.
Okay.
And the other thing I leaned on was I wanted to give some current players a boost. This was the NBA Jam inspiration. And NBA Jam, fucking Mike Izzarino from the Dallas Mavericks is in the original game in the arcade. You don't know who the hell that is. He shouldn't be on the same court as Michael Jordan, but he is because it's a fantasy world. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
Yeah, is really
shouldn't really be above Ray Allen if we're being honest about the all-time Thunder/Sonics, but I thought he was a better fit for the modern NBA. Now, that's
Also-
kind of a bad example because Ray Allen would hold his own, but this happened a lot more with a lot of the other older players. They're either really good or they're not on these teams.
So Cody, for
Also, Ray Allen did not play for the Thunder. So.
He played for the Sonics.
a long time, we've been building this multiverse storyline where the Obama is collecting people from across time and space for the fate of the universe. It's culminating now. It just keeps building
It's
and
the
building.
best of
Now
the
it's the
best.
very, very, very best. But we've brought in our old selves who previously won the championship, but we're old and busted now. Still 90s.
I guess it's the Pelicans you took out.
It was not the Pelicans I took out.
It was the Wizards.
37 grand
They
so
suck.
far.
The Pelicans were one of the bottom 3 teams. I considered it.
That's what I thought.
There's a team with an even worse roster than that, though. So, like, the Warriors have
Charlotte.
3 99s because all 3 of these guys are all-time greats, and this was Wilt in his prime. So, like...
Look at that mustache.
But, the number of players that we don't know, like old-time guys that weren't very good and don't translate to the modern NBA, they're pretty much all gone now. The Wizards made it, even though they're not very good.
Kristaps Porzingis, all-time wizard.
I put 22-year-old Jordan on them just to make them somewhat interesting.
And Suns legend Bradley Beal. That's great.
I like that Jordan's on there because he was the owner. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to come on the court and play, actually. This is the fate of the universe is on the line here.
So
Interesting.
all these teams have been optimized, and all of them are going to play their starters the whole game. And the result, I'll warn you now, is pretty interesting for a couple different reasons.
So have you ever seen Dragon Ball Super, Cody? At one point, they have a tournament where, like, the best of, like, Earth now is fighting against, like, the best of... So we're the best in our universe.
Yeah.
And now we're fighting other universes' best
Picture
teams
Zion.
that happen to fill out the league perfectly. Just about. That's why there's 2 Suns teams there. There's a little bit of overlap.
Oh, sweet. Run our test.
The Pacers kind of suck. I did the best I could.
Yeah,
Well,
I
two of
almost
their
thought the
players,
Magic would be the
win the
ones
crowd.
to be gone. But the Magic have good players in the past, so it can't be the Magic.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. It
Because
has to be
It's the
Charlotte.
Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Bobcats is history.
The
right?
Charlotte Hornets, I can't pull them up because they're not here. Had Larry Johnson, sure, makes sense. Not like a really, really great player, but a very solid player. Alonzo Mourning, sure, very good. And then Gordon Hayward, Lonzo Ball,
Or LaMelo.
Terry Rozier.
Yikes. Yeah, yikes.
So, do the Hornets get the Bobcats history and the original Hornets history?
The Bobcats history doesn't help them
That's what I'm saying. Like that is that what they?
because
actually
that brings
did?
in like Gerald Wallace and
yeah.
like shit that doesn't matter. So
The
they're the
Bobcats
team that got
Gerald.
relegated.
That's why I was like, okay, that makes sense then if it's them because I just didn't know if the Pelicans get the Charlotte Hornets history or if the Hornets get the Hornets history. I actually don't know.
So here's the Magic, who have Franz Wagner on there.
Oh,
Because again, I mean, what am I going to do? Put
I mean-
subprime Grant Hill in there? But like they were good. They were at least they have Penny and Shaq and T Mac. So like that was something. So yeah, the Hornets were the ones that got cut.
you stopped the infinite Jason Kids though by doing this, right?
Yes. So there's really nothing that shouldn't be happening here. There are a couple of duplicate players because each all-time team, there's multiple LeBrons because he's been the best player on a couple of different franchises, right? And there's 2 Jordans because I threw the one on the Wizards for funsies. But if a player only played one place, like a Larry Bird, there's only one Larry Bird.
I like it.
Yeah.
Is that wow? Larry Markkinen truly is the top 5 Jazz of all time. That seems
Yeah.
crazy.
And I thought about
Pistol Pete got fucked.
I
here.
thought about Pistol Pete, and I was like, no, he never seems to be as good as he's supposed to be in these games. Like we've tried that before, and he never seems to hold up.
He can't defend.
Let me tell you, Stockton and Malone are plenty good on their own.
Yeah, I imagine.
So, anyways, that's the season for next time.
So since there's less duplication, is this like an
Wait, we're not
example
playing a
of?
game right now?
We are. I'm going to end this video as a preview, and then we'll do
We
the
had the
recording.
timelines branching out. Maybe this is like what they keep talking about doing in Zelda, and like this is like trying to bring the timeline back, converging the timeline back into
You
one.
really are into this multiverse.
Yeah, it has to make sense. There has to be a storyline, or else what are we doing?
Also, please enjoy our negative $2 billion profit. If you thought-
It doesn't money
Why
doesn't.
are the fans so uninterested in us?
I mean, it's
Well,
it's,
there's two Suns teams sharing an arena, so maybe we're the less interesting.
Well,
one.
and they're also stressed out because of the multiversal
That's
implications.
right, you're right.
So
Yeah,
They know
that's
which
true.
game to go to and what arena at what time.
they all might die at a given moment. So anyways, these will start tomorrow by the time this video airs.
Done.
So come along with us. I'm really proud of this. It's finally gotten to do what I've kind of been trying to get this to do for a long time. I think I'm not gonna say it's like perfect, but we already know the sliders are good because we had the last season in this game. Like everything's kind of clicking here. So stick with us. Stay tuned.